Hello, thank you for joining us today for plant-based cooking with our favorite chef, Chef Kimberly McNair Brock. My name is Elise Rose with ARP Alabama, and I'm your host today. And we're so happy that you are joining us. We are filming today with our friends at the Jefferson County office at the Alabama Cooperative Extension System and appreciate their partnership for today. If this is your first time joining us, we want to make sure that AARP Alabama that you know that AARP Alabama is a 501c organization, and our goal is to make life easier as you age. If you have any questions about AARP Alabama, please feel free to reach out to us or leave us a comment in the comment section below. Today, we're excited to be joined by Chef Kim. Chef Kim, what are we making today?
We are making a creamy mushroom pasta.
That sounds very good. I know you always have a delicious recipe for us.
Yes.
Is there a prep time, specific prep time for this dish for today?
I would say prep time might be, I'll go ahead and say 30 minutes, but it may not be that long. And then preparing it, 15, maybe 20 minutes.
Perfect.
Mhm.
So without further ado, I'm going to let you take over and get us started for today.
Awesome, awesome. So I am so glad that our local farmers market, some of our local mushroom vendors are back for the season. And so we've got some beautiful, delicate yellow oyster mushrooms. We've got some cremini, and then we have some local shiitake. So what I'm doing here is just really just kind of tearing them off of the stem. You saw me cut a little bit of the woody end off there. But you can saute the mushrooms, but I really like what happens in the oven when we roast them. So you kind of roast them at a high temp, and um, just kind of goes pretty quickly. But it just kind of makes them a little more meaty to me, and gives them a little bit more texture than just sautéing them. I also saw recently where someone sort of fried them in a really high heat so that they were crispy, so you didn't have that water that's in the mushroom. It immediately came out. So like I said, I'm just sort of tearing them um, because I just want them to sort of be in their natural state, if you will. Um, you can certainly chop them if you prefer. Uh, but I just like that there will be all different size pieces in here. So this is some cremini mushrooms. I'm just pulling apart here. Okay. And then I'm going to get to our delicious shiitake. So with the shiitake, you don't want to use the stem. It's very woody. But you do want to save the stems for stock and things like that. If you want to make like a quick broth, um, it would be really good to use for that. You can cut the shiitake as opposed to what I was doing with the other ones, tearing them. But if you tear them in small enough pieces, uh, they won't. I'm not gonna say they're off-putting because I love them, but if some people maybe just don't like the taste of shiitake, and these are fresh shiitake. If you aren't where you can get them fresh, they do come jarred or dried. You can reconstitute them and and bring them back. I like to say, and use them like that. But since this is a wild mushroom pasta dish, you want to have a variety of mushrooms. But there's beautiful chestnuts that have a great taste, and really, when I cook with chestnut mushrooms, they almost melt. So you really have a hard time even seeing them. So, but get out there if you've got a local purveyor in your neighborhood or your town where you can explore different mushrooms, local mushrooms, and they love to talk about them because they have to forage for them. So you stop by their booth, or if someone has a pop up somewhere, and a lot of times they will even have a little tasting of them. I know the farm that has the shiitake, the wife gets there early and she sort of fries them up and she has them in little cups so you can taste them. So we're all done here, tearing them up. I'm gonna put these aside, and I'm gonna just put a little bit of avocado oil on here. I want to season them up pretty well. Okay, and then I'm going to put some of our spice blend, but you can just use salt, pepper. If you like onion powder or garlic powder, onion and garlic powder just really add flavor to the dish. A lot of times you're tasting it's something and you say, well, it needs a little something, and you can't figure out what that something is. A lot of times it's just garlic. So I'm gonna sort of massage this in, put the seasoning, work it all in, and the oil. And I've somewhat overcrowded this pan, but it'll be fine. And I'm gonna get this flattened out and go in the oven with it. And we'll have it roasting while we're working on our other components. And I've got the oven on 400. I might bump it up just a little bit. So, all right. So I'm going to now get started on our onion and our garlic. And also actually got local onions and local garlic. This is probably the last of the local garlic. I think he said it would be around June or something like that before they got some more fresh garlic in. I'm going to turn our burner on here. Get it going. So I'm cutting up about half of the onion. If you want to use green onion, you can. We are going to have, you want also, we eat with our eyes first, so you want to have some colorful things in the dish. So we're going to put some spinach in a little later, so we will have some green. But get our onion cut up there and put it back in a bowl. So when our oil gets hot, we can just drop everything in. And a lot of this is, she's asking about prep time. So I did pre-boil my pasta. And that's something that you can do well in advance. Especially if you're meal prepping or something like that. You can do quite a bit of pasta, or you can do a whole bag or a whole box, whatever you're using. And if you don't use it all for that dish, you can just freeze it. So that way, just cook it al dente. And so when you get ready to use it for whatever, you already have some there ready for you. So just picking apart this, taking the skin off the garlic, peel, and then we're going to chop it up. So once our oil gets a little hot, we'll go ahead and add our onions in. We won't add our garlic right off the bat. We'll just get it to start softening once the onions get softened. Okay. And this is a pretty quick dish. It's not a lot time involved. I think the longest thing that you have to wait for is for the vegan cheese to melt into the oat milk. But use whatever milk that you like. Some people like almond milk or even a cashew milk. If you get to make it yourself, it's even better. Okay. All right. Okay. So we're good to go there. I'm going gonna go ahead and add our onion in. Oh, no wonder I don't have it high enough. Turn that up. It was on 280, so I've got to turn up about 3 something now. And I'm going to just keep chopping this. If you want to make your garlic into a paste, you can put a little salt, coarse salt on here and really chop it and kind of pull it in both ways. And that will help that get really minced finely. Okay. That should be good to go. Right. Turn this up, soften up our onion here. Okay. Go ahead and add our garlic in. Oh, before I do that, I'm going to season this up a little bit. Add a little sea salt here for this. You want to build your layers of flavor to the dish instead of just putting it all in at the end. So you want to season it as you go along. All right. I'm going to add in our garlic on top of our onions. All right. More of that. Okay. And just saute this up just a little. You don't want the garlic to burn. Okay. Once you start getting it really fragrant as it is here, you're going to add your oat milk. So, adding our oat milk in. And so while this heats, you want to add in your vegan cheeses. So, you know, if you're already about this lifestyle, you probably have a favorite brand that you like, and they change all the time. Like one that I really like, it'll, you know, come out with something new and says improved taste, you know. So you just kind of have to taste them and see which one you like, which one melts like you like. You know, I like to make vegan pizzas, so I definitely want them to melt. I don't want them to be watery. So, but they're always improving on that all the time. So I'm going to add a little of our spice blend to the milk, not a ton, because the cheese typically has a little salt in it as well. And then I'm going to add, this is some local cayenne pepper. It's really sort of like red pepper flakes, but better. Or maybe sort of a combination of cayenne and red pepper flakes. So I like to get the milk a little hot before I add the cheese. And I see a little steam coming up here. So we're going to add our cheese in. This is a mixture of mozzarella and Parmesan. And like I said, you know, you want to find which ones are your faves. These are just my typical go-to, although I have tried an Italian blend that was really nice. And that would go well with it too. So, and the flavors, I think they're mimic provolone, Asiago, Parmesan, and I can't remember what the other one is, but you just want to get that in and have the cheese dissolve. And once it dissolves really well, you want to taste it and make sure you've got enough of your seasoning in here. Because once you get everything incorporated, it's a little difficult to get it where you want it to be. Okay, so we'll let that saute there. I'm gonna check on our mushrooms, and you'd be surprised how they have melted, if you will, and sweated down. So this is coming along nicely. I think I'm going to get me a little tasting bowl to taste this as we go along. Just get a little bit of the broth. You could use a little more. Definitely could use more garlic powder, and it could actually use some more heat. I'd say maybe I did it like a fourth of a teaspoon before, so I can add a little bit more of that to this. And just kind of stir everything in, and oftentimes that cayenne does exactly what it just did. It'll make me sneeze. So when I'm smelling it, it's good. Right where we want it to be. All right. We'll let that finish doing its thing. And we're going to chop up our spinach. And the spinach is really for color. It doesn't have a whole lot of flavor to it. And you're just getting more vitamins and nutrients into your dish. Taste this. Turn this heat down. Okay. That's good. All right. So we're going to chop our spinach. And as we chop it, I'm just going to put it right into the skillet. And this is like, a couple of nice size handfuls. That's what we're looking at. And you definitely want your spinach to completely wilt down before you add your mushrooms and your pasta. You're just doing a little rough chop on here, nothing major. Because it is going to wilt. And then just kind of fold it into the sauce. Just fold it in. And it will wilt down. So, all right. So it's pretty much incorporated there. I'm gonna wait just a tad. I'm gonna add our pasta in next, and then our mushrooms. Okay. Our mushrooms are done, folks. Something nice little facial. Here are the mushrooms. They are nice and all different types of textures here going on. So that's going to be wonderful. All right. I'm going to add the pasta. And the pasta will continue to bloom and sort of reconstitute in this sauce. Remember, because it was cooked al dente. So it'll sort of tighten up the whole dish. It won't be as loose. And again, I'm going to go in and taste a little bit. It's really pretty just where it is, folks. But it's going to be great with the mushrooms. It's delicious. So I'm going to just let this cook for a couple more minutes. Make sure everything's incorporated well. And get our mushrooms all ready to go in. And some of them have dried a little bit. They look a little dry, but they're all going in the sauce, so that'll be great. Trying to get a little boil on this before I add these mushrooms in it. Just like a slight little simmer, a little rolling boil going. There it is. Now, if you want to add some other herbs to this, even if you wanted to go Asian and like drizzle a little sesame oil on top, that would be something different and nice, but it will go really great with these mushrooms. You can add some very mild herbs like oregano and thyme as well. We're going to go in with our mushrooms here. I'm trying to do it where you guys can see too. Add all of them in. And just kind of fold them in. And believe it or not, that's it. Gonna plate this up and get our chaste on. And the noodles are starting to reconstitute and get a little larger. Okay.
That looks real delicious, Chef Kim. I know I can't wait to try this recipe at home myself.
It's very simple and easy.
Do you have any other recommendations for our viewers while cooking this dish?
No, I think I gave quite a few things. If you want a little heat in it, you can add a little jalapeno pepper along with the onion in the beginning. That way everything kind of gets some heat all the way through it. Just give mushrooms a try. They are delicious and, like I said, great in season if you can get some local ones. You might have to manipulate like a hen of the woods or there's one they call chicken, and you have to cook it for a little longer period of time. But I think if you just try and explore them and see which ones you like, you really probably surprise yourself. So, but here it is. This is our creamy wild mushroom pasta, and it's delicious.
Thank you for joining us today, Chef Kim. As usual, we always know you have a great recipe for us.
Well, it's my pleasure.
Thank you. We'll see you next month.
All right. Take care.
Take care. We're always excited to have Chef Kim with us, and we wanted to thank our friends at the Jefferson County office at the Alabama Cooperative Extension System for their support today. If you were a fan of today's show and would love to watch more of our upcoming shows, please follow us on Facebook and our YouTube channel at AARP Alabama. Also, please don't forget to like, share, and comment in our comment section and complete the survey for today's event. If you would like to let us know what you look forward to next time, please also leave that in the comment section on your survey. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye for now.